Hey guys, it's your girl T, and I have a story that's coming from Maniac, Minnesota. I know we have not gotten a Minnesota story in a while, but we finally have one. And a lot of folks have been wanting to know my opinion on this particular story. So what's going on is that you have a father, his name is Brad Knudson, and he adopted this black girl. Her name is Knudson. He adopted her when she was 3 years old. And supposedly on New Year's Eve, she's being harassed and bullied by these identical twins. So when the harassment initially started, he tried to contact the parents. He knocked on the door. He called the dad. And at first they wouldn't respond to him. And then once the police got involved, then the dad eventually gave up the phone number and they were able to speak on the phone. Come to find out, here goes the cliffhanger. Here goes the shocker. The twins' father is just as racist as the twins. He basically called Brad Knudson a nigger lover and that he didn't understand, why he was taking this so seriously. And he said basically kids will be kids. So after he just basically had a nonchalant attitude about the situation, Brad decided to take his frustrations to YouTube. He recorded a 5-minute YouTube video basically putting this entire family in Prior Lake on blast. So then after he released the YouTube video, all the internet crusaders had to going on Devin Puro and his twins. They decided to send him all types of death threats, going off on him. They got him fired from his job. So a lot of things has happened in the past few days. So Devin was fired from his job. The twins had to leave school because then everybody turned on the twins and started bullying them. They have not left the state of Minnesota and they're in hiding. So this whole situation is just a mess. And then it's also come out that the twins' mother is sitting in prison for some type of mortgage fraud. So she's locked up. Their dad's a drunk. He's checked himself into rehab. And the funny thing is, now that folks have gotten this man fired, he's going to have to go onto the system, get some type of assistance to be able to take care of his kids. And then guess what? Now me as a black woman is helping support this racist to feed and take care of his kids because the internet got him fired from his job. I mean, the whole situation is a mess to me. I just wanted to kind of watch this story and see how it played out. But I think the most disturbing part of this story is that after the father went on this tirade, after the father put everything on blast, the black daughter, Dee, decided to go on Snapchat and start using the N-word herself. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a short news clip. I want you guys to check this out. I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
This morning, a school district in Minnesota is looking into allegations of bullying after a father's online effort to fight back. Brad Knudson went on YouTube to expose the alleged bullies who he says targeted his 14-year-old daughter. His video has been viewed more than 1.3 million times. But his online crusade also turned up a surprise in his own Prior Lake, Minnesota home. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield of our Minneapolis station, WCCO, talks to the family in an interview you'll see only on CBS this morning.
If you're not smiling, you're doing it wrong.
Dee Knudson is the youngest of 5 children in her family. Her parents adopted her when she was 3. She's grown into a devoted athlete.
These are my medals that from the very first time I played till recently.
And a bit of a daddy's girl. Dee says that their multiracial family sometimes gets some stares, but nothing like what happened on New Year's Eve.
I looked at my phone and there was just a random video saying that I was the N-word and that I was a slut.
Some teens Dee barely knew sent her a series of Snapchats, which are video messages that disappear after they're played. When her father, Brad Knudson, was told, he was able to catch one of them on video.
You're a slut. Oh, you're such a slut.
Knudson filed a police report, but didn't want to press charges. He did want to talk to the parents of the 9th graders who sent the Snapchat. After a heated discussion, Knudson shared the whole story on YouTube.
It's very emotional.
Knudson plays both the Snapchat video sent to his daughter and the response he received from the father of the teens who sent it.
This voicemail back from him, and this is what it said.
I guess you're a lover.
Ultimately, it's the parents that are going to stop this behavior. And he clearly told me that it was acceptable in his house.
But it also brought to light an issue in his own home. A day after his video was released, his daughter made a Snapchat video of her own, using the same racial slur.
What's up?
Why did you say the N-word after what happened?
I was excited and not paying attention to what I was saying, but I did use it in a different meaning.
I am very, very disappointed that my daughter at first did not learn from this experience.
Knudson says he and his wife are starting a support group to share with other parents what they've learned. But the person he hopes to reach the most is the dad who sent him the offensive message.
I'd love to be able to have a discussion with him about how it made me feel as a father to hear those words.
First place.
Yeah.
For CBS This Morning, Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, Prior Lake, Minnesota.
All right, so you guys just watched the video, and like I said, it really bothers me that Dee Dee thinks that this is okay, and the fact that she's trying to use the excuse that she used it in a different term. First of all, Dee Dee, you're not from the hood, honey. You're from Prior Lake. It's not like you're from North Minneapolis, where you hear that word constantly, and that's how a lot of black folks out there talk to each other in the hood. You live in the suburbs, boo, so I don't understand why she felt the need to use that word out of all words. Second of all, you have a father who loves you. This man done went on the internet, literally broke down, damn near cried about this situation that you were put in, and then for you to basically make a video with you saying the same word that you're upset about these twins calling you. And miss me with the bullshit, it's in different contexts, you know, nigga, you know, N-I-G-G-A versus N-I-G-G-E-R. It's bullshit. It's just something that a lot of black folks just made up to make themselves feel better. To me, she had no business using that word, especially being that her father is on a crusade to basically, you know, stop racism from happening to his daughter. You know, so I feel like that was a big slap in the face. She's old enough to know better. And then for her to try and twist it and say, well, she used it in a different context, to me, that's still bullshit. You know, have respect for yourself, have respect for your father, have respect for the situation enough to not say things like that. At least not to get yourself recorded on camera saying it, because the first thing people are going to say is, you know what, his daughter's saying it, so if he can't even control his own household, who is he to dictate their household? It basically makes your father's plight look silly when you get on camera and you say the same damn thing. So that kind of upset me, but I'm glad that her father is taking it seriously, and her father is saying that she will be punished and that he's going to handle this situation. I really respect Brad. He seems like a really well-rounded father. He's there for all his children. He doesn't treat Dee Dee any differently than he does his white children. So I really have a lot of respect for this man, but I'm really disappointed in Dee Dee that she felt the need to record that type of video and use that type of word, but then in the same breath you're complaining about these white boys using that same word to you. You know, so that's the part that kind of, you know, bothered me. And then the fact that now this family has been threatened and these kids have went into hiding. You know, my thing is, if you're going to be out here, you know, saying racist things and being racist, then you need to own up to it, you know. And I'm not surprised about the man's comments. You know, growing up here in Minnesota, a lot of times the racism is not as blatant. It's more underhanded. People smile in your face, but then they say certain words behind your back, or they talk shit about you when you leave the room. So it's more like an underlying racism up here, whereas when I lived down south for 10 years, it was blatant in your face. You know what I'm saying? They was going to call you a nigga. They was going to call you a nigga straight to your face. They didn't give a damn. They didn't give a shit. And then they would dare you to do something. So it's a lot more blatant down south, but I respect this father for stepping up for his black daughter, for having her back, and for, you know, wanting her to be treated right and wanting her to be treated fairly. But like I said, I'm disappointed that she didn't take her father's plight and the fact that her father went so hard for her that she would just basically turn around and shit on everything that he said in that video and on everything that he did for her. You know, so that kind of disappointed me. But again, it's to be expected in maniac-ass Minnesota. So anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire crazy-ass situation. How do you feel about Brad Knudson putting all this out there, putting Puro and his little racist-ass twins on blast? And then how do you feel about the internet's response? Do you think that the internet, you know, was fair to respond in that way and bully them and threaten them? Or do you feel like the internet was once again being hypocritical? Because in one breath we say that bullying is bad and that we shouldn't bully people, but then as soon as somebody does something that we don't like or that we deem distasteful, then we turn around, we become the bullies and the antagonizers and everything else. Now, I don't feel bad for the man necessarily losing his job, because when you do certain things like that, a lot of companies are going to distance themselves away from you. This has been happening time and time again, especially once videos go viral. So I'm not shocked about him losing his job. But again, to me, the downfall is now this man does not have a way to support his children. He doesn't have a way to, you know, earn income. So what he's going to do is he's going to have to get on Minnesota welfare. He's going to have to get, you know, on food stamps and everything else. And now, like I said, black people like me are going to have to be feeding him and his racist ass family. So that to me is like a double-edged sword. It's like a slap in the face. So yeah, folks are happy that he got fired. But again, who's about to feed him and his kids? We are, the taxpayers. So the whole situation is just bullshit. But like I said, I understand Brad's intentions. I understand what Brad was trying to do. And I give him kudos for being a concerned father. But I am disappointed in Dee Dee and why she would do something like that. She needs to appreciate her family. She needs to appreciate living in the suburbs in that nice house and stop trying to act hood when you're not about that life. Anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire crazy situation that's once again coming from Maniac-ass Minnesota. All right, deuces.